What is going on, everybody? I am Rob Westerman, the third of GBP Daily, and thank you for tuning in to the Rob Westerman Show. You can find me all over the social sphere at GBP Daily. Shoot me a follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate that. Hit me up in the DMs. I am always available to talk Packers anytime, any day. And today is Tuesday, January 13th. Happy Tuesday, the first Tuesday of the off season. And Rich Bisaccia is still employed, which should be a crime at this point, right? Talks are that the Packers and Matt LaFleur are going to be working on a contract extension sometime this week, which I think is the right move. And unless you are talking to the side of the fan base that does not want Matt back, I think everybody around the league believes that it is the right move as well. I know he's been here for 7 years, but I think it is a unique situation. The first few years, he's revamping Aaron Rodgers back into back-to-back MVP form and going all in with veterans to try and win a Super Bowl. Everybody fails, right? Everyone fails. We clean house of all the veterans. Aaron's gone, and we kind of move on to a new stage halfway through his tenure. And what would normally be probably a rebuild era for most other teams, he is the head of the youngest team in the NFL, all on cheap contracts. And in back-to-back years with the youngest team in the league, he leads us to the playoffs. And I know, and I don't think myself that getting to the playoffs is banner-worthy by any means, right? But if you've seen some of the film content from this past week, from Saturday night's game that's been out on social media, you'll see that the plays he is calling are all right there for the taking until a guy or multiple guys along the offensive line specifically just get beat and blow everything up. There were multiple plays in the second half of that Bears game that would have went for touchdowns. Easy touchdowns. Not, it could have scored. They were easy touchdowns right there for the taking. Only if Jordan would have had a few more seconds to throw the ball. But instead, guys like Rasheed Walker multiple times gets ran over or ran right by to ruin everything. So the plays that he is calling are there for the taking. It just is getting blown up by guys along the offensive line not blocking. It's as simple as that. If Jordan would have had 1 or 2 more seconds to throw on a bunch of those drives coming out of the second half, we had guys wide open down the field. But he had guys in his face. He was getting sacked. He was having to throw the ball away. It just was ugly from the offensive line, specifically on Saturday. The offensive line in general proved game in and game out that they were a liability. So they were a huge reason why we weren't able to ever get Josh Jacobs going at a consistent rate at any point this season. A big reason why Jordan didn't throw for another 1,000 yards and 6 to 7 more touchdowns. I am not an expert in the film room, but I absorb a ton of content of those who are, and they will tell you the same thing. The offensive line held this offense back more than you can imagine. So on the brighter side of things, right, looking ahead to next season, Micah Parsons' rehab is going great. He is, as he said himself, flying through it, and he expects to be back by week 3 or 4. He hopes to be ready by week 1, but realistically probably not until late September or early October. Tucker Kraft is in the same boat. He is expecting to be ready by week 1. And Zach Tom, who has a partial torn patellar tendon, is having surgery, and that rehab is going to put him right up to training camp. So hopefully all 3 of those guys will be ready to rock by or close to the start of the year, and obviously Micah being realistically week 3 or 4. Anybody planning to maybe go to a Bucs game this winter, maybe a Brewers game this summer? Do not buy your tickets anywhere else other than TickPick. They guarantee the cheapest tickets on the market, and if you find cheaper tickets elsewhere, they will refund you 110% of your money back. Same tickets as everybody else, StubHub, SeatGeek, all those guys, and TickPick is the cheapest every single time. Shout out to TickPick. They are the best in the biz. What do we got going on in the comments section? We should hop in there. And as always, if you want to be a part of the show, give me a call on the Nicolet Law hotline, 319-242-2332, the Midwest personal injury law firm that actually shows up when you need them. If you've been hurt in a crash, fall, or another accident, the last thing you want to deal with is the insurance companies and paperwork. Nicolet Law takes that off your plate so you can focus on healing up. They walk you through your options. They handle the insurance companies and fight to get you what is fair. No upfront fees, no guesswork, just local attorneys who have your back. Call 1-800-NICOLET or visit nicolet.com. Mason starting us off here. I saw your post and was wondering your thoughts. Is Matt capable of winning us a Super Bowl? That is the magic question, right, Mason? I personally think so. It obviously takes more than just the head coach, right? I know you're asking if he's capable of leading us to a Super Bowl win. I think he is. And I am an optimistic fan, right? And the Packers are reportedly wanting him back. So I am going to choose to side with them and get on board with the fact that, yeah, they think he's capable of doing that. Instead of being a naysayer and not support it, which everyone has a right to do. That's the way you want to fan it. That's cool with me. You know, everybody has their own way of going about it. But to answer your question, I think he is. We've had some pretty terrible circumstances happen to us over the years as far as playoff losses go. Just think back to David Bakhtiari injury before the playoffs, the ACL that he tore in practice this year, right? With all the injuries we had going into the playoffs. I think this was the first year we were legit Super Bowl contenders with Jordan Love until the injury struck, right? When Tucker went down, our chances, in my opinion, dropped significantly. And it still could have been done, don't get me wrong. But when Micah went down, when Devontae Wyatt went down, when Zach Tom, Elton Jenkins went down, our chances went out the window. So I was hopeful to make, a little run here in the playoffs this year, but the chances of us winning it all, probably slim to none, as we found out this past weekend. So thank you, Mason. To recap, I do believe Matt LaFleur is capable of leading us to a Super Bowl. I think we have got a pretty good nucleus heading into next year. You get Micah back, you get Tucker Kraft back, you get Zach Tom back, hopefully Devontae Wyatt back. And, yeah, run it back. We were 9-3-1 before Micah went down. So one of the best teams in the league. And then, yeah, the injury bug struck again. And also, Brandon McManus, we need a new kicker if we think we're going to win some playoffs games. So, my man, bring back Mason Crosby. Yeah, well, I think Mason is hung up for good. So, Caleb, is it too early to start talking about draft needs? I don't think so, right? It's the offseason, and outside of free agency, which I don't think we'll be players in really because of our cap situation, I'm always down for some draft talk. The needs, I think, are pretty glaring, right? Cornerback for starters. I'm sick of getting toasted all year long. And offensive lineman. Backup quarterback, too. So we'll see what happens with Keyshawn Nixon and Carrington Valentine. But Nate Hobbs is probably the only guy returning that had any playing time this year. Which is fine with me. Maybe bring Carrington back since he is so cheap, but to have any sort of plan that has him being a starter would be a mistake. So, but yeah, cornerback, offensive line being the two biggest needs that are so obvious. And then with Malik gone, we'll have to find a new backup quarterback as well. So I don't, plan on needing the backup quarterback, but just saying it how it is, Jordan has missed time, every year. So backup quarterback has proved to be a pretty valuable position for us over these last few years. So thank you, Caleb. Appreciate you for hopping in. My man, I think we need more wide receivers. Just kidding. Yeah. Before we go into any more receivers, right, I would love to see Matthew Golden get some more action. And he did in the game against the Bears on Saturday. And I'm not sure why it took all season long to get him the ball, but it did. So, we got him coming back, Savion Williams, Christian Watson, Jaden Reed. Those guys for sure. Romeo Dobbs, probably not. And I, for one, am okay with that. As my man Mike is in the house asking, is Dobbs gone? You think he stays in Green Bay? I don't. I don't think Dobbs is staying next year, which honestly is okay with me. I know I've talked about it before. Romeo Dobbs has been, a good to solid receiver for us and played great in big time games, including this one this past weekend. But I am okay with not paying him, what he might get 10, 15, 20, who knows, $1 million in free agency. So hopefully that means Matthew Golden will get some more run once Romeo is getting paid elsewhere. So time for Golden to shine. That's right, Mike. I'm with you. My man Phil joining. Appreciate you, Phil. Jesse. Ooh, Jesse. All right. Do you like our beat reporters? I find it hard to sit through some of the pressers with the questions that get asked. Oh, Jesse, that's a tough one. I think we have a great nucleus of guys that do cover the team, some being there for decades. And I obviously don't have a problem with any of them because I don't know any of them personally. I did have a reporter get mad at me for not crediting their work, in which was a one-time honest mistake. And if they would have scrolled any further down my Instagram, they would have realized that because I credited him hundreds of times over the years. But instead, they were a dick about the whole thing. So whatever. Goes to show that, some of them will go at you pretty hard if you criticize them or anything of that nature. So, which, is whatever. They're doing their job. I do appreciate their work, 99% of the time because it is hard. And oftentimes, in my opinion, not the most enjoyable work trying to, pry information out of coaches and players who don't care to share any. So, all in all, I am indifferent on the beat reporters themselves because I don't know any of them. I do enjoy the work of the ones I do follow, and those being, Bill Huber, Tom Silverstein, Paul Brettel, Mike Spofford, Wes Hodkowitz, the guys, in the press conferences asking questions, and then obviously a ton of others that put out content and are reporting on the team, but are not in, the press conference room asking questions like, Aaron Nagler. I love his coverage. Andy Herman. I enjoy listening to his shows every day. Peter Bukowski. I enjoy his coverage. And, Zach Jacobson. There's a bunch of good content creators out there reporting and just covering the team, and for more so the fan side of things, Matt Ramage is always great to tune into. My man Clayton and the crew over there at Packers Total Access. There are so many good content creators, good reporters for the team. There's so many. There are others who, I've seen go at Packers fans in a way that I don't think is very professional. But that's not for me to speak on or, not really something I care to waste time complaining about anyways. Pick the guys that you like on the beat and in the content creation world to follow and support their work. And then just, ignore the ones that you don't like. So there's someone out there for everybody. So everyone can find someone that they can follow along with and absorb their content or reporting. So, but yeah, to answer your question, I feel indifferent about the beat reporters. I don't no problems with any of them. No nothing. So I do think we have a pretty good nucleus of guys that cover the team. That is for sure. My man Phil, cheers, Rob, and all other fans. McManus still under contract, right? That is a great question. I do believe he is. Look that up here. Yep. McManus signed a 3-year, $15.3 million contract just this past March, including a $5 million signing bonus. So he is under contract through 2027. But yeah, I think and hope the Packers go another direction. It's just he's been too inconsistent. I know he finished the year 3 of 9 on kicks from 40 yards and out, which just isn't good enough. It's as simple as that. I don't feel, any one way about him, outside of being a kicker that isn't as consistent as they should be on an NFL roster. So I hope they can look into going a different direction, Phil, if that's what you were going to ask. So, and I think the majority of Packers fans maybe are with me on that. So, all right, guys, that is going to do it for me today. Thank you again for tuning in. Always, always, always love talking Packers with you guys. Hit me up on social media at GBP Daily. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just hit that button right there. It's free. Any sort of interaction helps myself and helps the page. I will be back and at it again tomorrow. I am live every day talking Packers over on the GBP Daily YouTube channel. So if you got time, join me. Would love to have you on the show and hanging out. So thank you again for tuning in, and I will catch you guys later. Thank you.